Why do you react so strongly to certain situations? You may be carrying emotional wounds from childhood that never got the chance to heal. These wounds shape how we see ourselves, interact with others, and navigate the world. In this video, we'll explore the 5 primary emotional wounds we carry: rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, and injustice, and the defense mechanisms we develop to protect ourselves. But here's the beautiful truth. You can learn to recognize these patterns, understand their roots, and begin your journey of healing and self-awareness. Let's walk this path together. Let's start with rejection. This wound often begins in those early years when a child feels unwanted, unseen, or unloved. Maybe it was a parent who was emotionally unavailable, or perhaps it was the sting of being picked last for the team. To protect themselves from further pain, the child begins to withdraw, to armor up against the world. As adults, this pattern often continues. We might struggle with deep-seated feelings of unworthiness, believing we're not good enough to be loved for who we truly are. This can manifest as perfectionism, where we strive to be flawless to prove our value. We might shy away from vulnerability, fearing that exposing our true selves will lead to rejection. Intimacy, both emotional and physical, can become a minefield, fraught with anxiety and the fear of being pushed away. Think back to your childhood. Were there times you felt invisible, like your voice didn't matter? Do you find yourself holding back in relationships, afraid to fully open up? But here's the thing, you are worthy of love. Recognizing this wound is the first step. Embrace your imperfections, your quirks, your beautiful messiness. That's where authenticity lives, and authenticity is a magnet for genuine connection. The second wound we'll explore is abandonment. This wound cuts deep, often stemming from a childhood where a primary caregiver was physically or emotionally absent. It could have been a parent who struggled with addiction, a divorce that fractured the family, or even the loss of a loved one. The child internalizes the belief that love is unreliable and those they depend on will eventually leave. This primal fear of being left behind can follow us into adulthood, shaping our relationships and behaviors. We might become emotionally dependent on our partners, terrified of being alone and constantly needing reassurance that they won't abandon us. The thought of being alone can trigger a cascade of anxiety, leading to clinging behaviors and a desperate need for validation. If you carry the wound of abandonment, you might find yourself jumping from one relationship to another, terrified of being alone but also subconsciously recreating the very dynamic you fear. You might struggle to trust others, always expecting them to disappoint you or leave. But here's the truth. You are capable of building secure and loving relationships. It starts with recognizing the wound and understanding how it's driving your behavior. Embrace your independence and learn to find comfort in your own company. The third wound, humiliation, often emerges from childhood experiences where we were shamed, particularly for expressing our needs or emotions. This could have been a parent who constantly criticized our appearance, a teacher who ridiculed us in front of our peers, or even a sibling who made fun of our vulnerabilities. We learn to associate vulnerability with pain, and so we build walls to protect ourselves. This often manifests as people-pleasing. We become chameleons, morphing ourselves to fit in and gain approval. We say yes when we mean no, prioritize others' needs above our own, and silence our authentic selves to avoid rocking the boat. Does this resonate with you? Do you find yourself constantly seeking validation from others? Do you struggle to set boundaries or say no, even when it comes at the expense of your own well-being? Healing the wound of humiliation requires reclaiming your voice and honoring your worth. It's about recognizing that your needs and feelings are just as valid as anyone else's. Embrace your authentic self, quirks and all, and recognize that true belonging comes from being accepted for who you are, not who you pretend to be. The fourth wound, betrayal, often takes root when someone we trust breaks that trust. When a promise is broken, a confidence is violated, or loyalty is shattered. For a child, this could be a parent who breaks a promise, a friend who spreads a secret, or a sibling who throws them under the bus. The world, once perceived as safe and predictable, suddenly feels treacherous and unreliable. To protect themselves, the child learns to armor up, to build walls and keep people at a distance. As adults, this can manifest as a deep-seated mistrust of others. We might struggle to let people in, to truly believe that they have our best interests at heart. Do you find it difficult to trust others? Do you struggle to let go of control, needing to orchestrate every aspect of your life and relationships? Healing this wound requires courage, a willingness to be vulnerable again, to risk being hurt in the pursuit of genuine connection. The final wound we'll explore is injustice. This wound often forms in childhood environments that were overly critical, rigid, or controlling. Imagine a child growing up in a home where mistakes were met with harsh punishment, where emotions were stifled, and where perfection was the only acceptable standard. In such an environment, the child learns to suppress their authentic self, to conform to the rules, and to hide any sign of vulnerability for fear of being judged or punished. As adults, this can manifest as a relentless pursuit of perfectionism. We become high achievers, always striving to be the best, to prove our worth. We might be highly critical of ourselves and others, holding everyone to impossible standards. Beneath this driven exterior often lies a deep well of insecurity. We might fear failure, judgment, or not being good enough. Healing the wound of injustice requires cultivating self-compassion. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of love and belonging not because of your achievements but simply because you exist. Embrace your imperfections, celebrate your progress, and give yourself permission to rest, to play, to be human. These wounds don't just stay in childhood, they show up in how we argue, how we love, and even in our self-talk. They create patterns, until we choose to break them. But here's the thing. Recognizing these wounds, understanding their origin stories, is an act of incredible courage. Healing begins with awareness. Recognize your wound. Give that inner child what they missed. Safety, love, patience. Practice self-compassion. Speak kindly to yourself. And if needed, reach out to a therapist or healer who can support you through it. You are not your wound, you are your healing. If this video helped you reflect, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on healing, self-worth, and inner growth.